Oh, wait, I forgot. The metaverse, aka Facebook, has changed. And I'm just putting it out there into the ethers, or the AI that is listening. I am not using anybody's content or music or any other reason to mute me or my videos for any reason. Yet I do appreciate you looking out for our best interest in what we are sharing on social media. However, I do have a little bit of a gripe with the fact that the metaverse Facebook can just go in and tell me I'm using someone else's content when I'm just channeling my own information through cards, and then mute me, and then not give me the opportunity to reach out and ask, what are you muting? What are you seeing as being someone else's content and not mine? Because that just seems like a really false reason to mute out maybe some important information that is being channeled through me for other people to hear. Life is getting interesting, people. I'm just putting it out there that yes, my content is being altered, is being muted, it is being censored. And the only reason I'm getting is using someone else's music or content, which I am not. So I'm not sure what's going on with AI, I call it artificial insanity, but it is quite intelligent as well. Anyway, had to get that off. Hello, good morning. Hi, everybody. I wanted to get that off my chest before I even saw anybody was on here. So, hi. For anybody watching, I am in rare form today, not in a bad way, but I have a lot of, I have too much insight and information to even share here on Facebook, but we're going to just go ahead and start with the reading. All these solar flares, yeah, they have been really, really nonstop and pretty intense, although the KP index has not really gone past the KP 4 or 5 threshold. When we reach about 7 is where we start to see auroras here in Pennsylvania. We haven't quite gotten there yet. We almost did a few days ago, but I was seeing them in the clouds while I was on my paddleboard the other day. You can, if you have certain sunglasses, or even through like a tinted window, if you look up through into the sky during the day when the solar flares are really, really strong, you will be able to see like rainbow-like auroras in the clouds, which is really neat and cool and interesting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just do a random reading on the collective energy today, because I'll tell you what, there's some really, really interesting and insane things happening lately, it seems. Maybe it's just my journey, but I don't think so. I've been really observing a lot of other people's experiences here, and the messages I've been getting are really actually coming to life. They're actually happening, so I'm going to just keep going with that. Stay in your own lane is still my mantra, and I highly suggest that for everyone else too. Not to mean not engage if there's something that you need to engage in, but if it's going to just pull out an old version of you to engage with it, and you know it already, you can feel it. You can feel when karma's coming for you very, very intensely in your body. Oh yeah, we have the 8th house that pops out. Hi, Steph. Oh, a huge shift. And I will talk about that shift that's happening this weekend. It already is occurring, but I feel like more and more people are really starting to see what is happening. The card that came out is the 8th house, which is the house that is getting hit for me the hardest in my birth chart. This is the house of transformation, of death. This is the house of karma, facing fears. And Oh, what does that word say? Facing fears and I cannot see. That is the strangest thing, this writing on this card. Now I really want to sing. Because I know I've had a problem with it before. Insecurities. Facing fears and insecurities. Sorry about that. Well, that's exactly what I was feeling, and we are in the house of karma collectively for sure. So what I want to say to all of you who watch and listen on a regular basis, follow the astrology, follow what's, because each channeling, each reading, each astrology cycle links into the next. It's like a whole storyline, right? Well, right now, as a collective, as humanity, we are going through this huge transformation. This is very, very karmic, as I've been saying. And many people are being forced to face their fears and their insecurities and their shadow. Let's just say we are in the depths of collective shadow right now. So if you're noticing a lot of people's shadow, a lot of greed, a lot of power and control plays, a lot of just real narcissistic behaviors, a lot of just things that really rub you the wrong way coming up all over the place. This is why. Don't be alarmed. Do not be alarmed by it. Yes, it is very off-putting. Stay in your lane. Everybody needs to see this. Everybody needs to see their own depths of their shadow, their own tendencies to go certain places and be a certain way. And this is what's happening now. People are being shaken out of their own, they're going to be woken up through this. Not everybody, because again, it's cycles. We've got lots and lots of cycles, but we're in this deeply. I have yellow jacket nests right outside my door that I cannot leave my house right now. The universe has put me very, very, protecting my energy right now, and still feeling all the feels, feeling everything that's coming through, but reading it differently, not reacting to it as an older version of me would be. Yep, I gotta see the comments here because there's lots of stuff that's popping off right now. It's crazy. I don't know who this Samantha Smith is, but I'm sorry, Samantha. Nobody is going to be contacting you for readings right now. Sorry about that. And we know that I will report that later. We know that as I was saying, Mara, you weren't on earlier, but in the beginning of my video, I was talking to the metaverse or Facebook or all of social media because I have constantly been censored, muted through my readings, my videos. I'll get messages that come up to me after I've posted them. So being live, you guys can hear all that comes out of my mouth. But when they get posted, they cut off parts, important parts, saying that it's a song or I'm using someone else's content when I'm just channeling information from the cards. So this has been happening. I've had other issues. I've been mentioning it with social media. A lot of other readers, astrologers, people speaking out are being censored right now. It's in small bits, but I can see it. I already see it happening. So pay attention. We're going to get a new platform going soon here, everybody. I will let you know when that happens. I've been saying that a lot too. Okay, let me bring the energy back. Collectively, we are in some chaotic times, very karmic times. However, there are a good enough portion of us that have gotten over our own hump. Really, our own crap is being pulled out of us, and it's playing out in many different ways. And we're trying to really get through so that we can be that anchor of light and of support for others when they get past their own personal eruptive portion. We can't really help people when they're erupting, when they're emerging from their, I don't even want to say chrysalis, but emerging from their own darkness to face their own darkness. That's where a lot of people are right now, and we have to kind of let them do their thing. There's two, from my observation, there are two ways people will act this way. Some will literally retreat and don't want other people, such as myself, to see them in such a dark space or reactive space, while others will do the complete opposite and scream from the mountaintops, grasp and reach, and want everybody else in their own misery to fight their battle, even though they don't realize they're fighting themselves. So stay in your own lane is really, really important, because some of you may have people coming for you or coming like, help me. But then when they come, they ask for help, they're going to pull you into their black hole, so to speak. So be very mindful. We can be here for people and supportive, but it is a little different than it used to be. I will just tell you that it takes a lot more discernment and a lot more, like, you might have to take a step back. Not that you're holding people away, but everybody use your own discernment here, and everybody's experience is going to be totally different as well. But I'm just putting that out there because I'm noticing a lot of things. I'm noticing swarms of different energies pop up, and with the way nature's been speaking with me, with the bees and the yellow jackets and the birds this morning, I had some blue jays come and chase off the cardinals that are always on my bird feeder. And that was, as I was describing the energy to a friend, my observation of the energy to a friend, nature came in and showed me, yep, this is what's happening. People are playing power games, trying to control people, control things, want to bring people into their own narrative. And here's the question to ask yourself. Are you living your truth, or are you being like a part in someone else's play? That's a really important thing that people are starting to realize. When you're in deep codependent relationships, that's when it's going to become very obvious that someone really is holding on and you're just going for it, or vice versa. These things we can't escape it. The truth and reality that is being shown to many people right now. Been attracting butterflies. Yeah, butterflies are everywhere. It's such a great symbol. Butterflies symbolizing to me the collective is waking up. Not erupting, I wanted to say erupting. Maybe some are erupting out of the chrysalis. And think about it. The caterpillar uses its own creative juices internally to form that chrysalis, and then to get itself out. When it emerges, it's still a little wet. It's still a little awkward, right? When we emerge from the chrysalis, we're not just flying off into the sunset right away. We're a little wobbly, a little not so sure. We're looking around. Where are the other butterflies that I can relate to right now? That's kind of how I'm seeing that. And I've actually had a huge, I want to say like 50 or 60 monarch butterflies in the stream. Like there's a little bank or center island in the stream outside of my house where like 50 monarch butterflies just collectively are sitting and kind of wobbling around. And I'm like, they must have all just hatched. I don't know. It's really interesting. But nature speaks. So that's where I get a lot of my joy. And my joy in life is to communicate with nature, right? Especially now. Let's get into the reading though. Collectively, we are working through our transformation, our karma, working through our fears, facing ourselves, facing our shadow. Many of us have faced our shadow, and many of us may be waiting to reunite or communicate with another. That there's a sense, we know, we sense, we feel. I'm going to get the cards. Let's see what the cards are gonna say. I don't want to say too much yet, as I have been instructed by the censorship alone. Maybe I'm letting too much information out all at once, and it can be too much sometimes. even for myself. It really can. Okay, well, we've got quite the mix here. Okay, Samantha Smith, you are banned from the stream. And okay, thank you. Okay, so what we have here is ascension. Yes, many souls are ascending right now through the planetary transits, through the massive solar flares. The vibration is elevating. We are elevating out of older versions of ourselves, out of playing in the matrix. People are really waking up to the insanity of the third dimensional matrix and how controlled we've been. So ascending out of that, rising up out of the density. Higher self is assisting. So people are finally picking up on the signs, picking up on the sensations, the synchronicities, following their heart, following the higher self guidance. There's a sense of loss. There's a sense of, I don't know who I am. Because it's almost like when you're ascending from an older version of yourself and things no longer resonate with you, the materialism, the way people treat each other, the way you've treated yourself. And when you connect with your higher self and you start to really see the truth of it all, disillusionment sets in at first, realizing that everything that we had once believed to be true was completely false, and realizing that it actually felt false, and that's a big reason why we had developed these personalities or personas to begin with, or attached ourselves to an identity, to a job, a role, whatever. And when that gets stripped away, it's like, who am I? Who am I without these things? I have no idea. I don't know who I am. I don't know why I'm here on this planet. What am I here to be doing? It's a sense of loss. Like, I've lost myself. And that's a beautiful place to be. It can be a very scary place to be. But the higher self is also right there with you. So you're not lost. It's just a, okay, we're going to go on to another deck of cards. It's just a, it's part of the process of this part of the cycle, which if you're not in that part of the cycle, that cycle will come back around for you. Everybody, we're never in a linear straight line of time. Things are always cyclical. They always spiral back to, and we're working with the Trinity, with our higher self, mind, body, spirit. That is the bottom of the deck for collective energy. All right, this is getting interesting. For collective interest, for collective energy in the 8th house of karma, transformation, death, rebirth. Okay, so let's elaborate on ascension a little bit more here. Okay. Let's keep going. This is getting kind of deep here. As the journey does get deep from time to time, when we're in the 8th house, whoo boy, we are in the depths of ourselves, aren't we? Once we realize our own self, then we awaken. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. And it can be a painful realization. I know for myself, it was more of like a deep belly cry each time I'm awakened to something that's deep. It's a deep belly cry that I've never even heard come out of me before. But when it does, it's a cleansing. It's not even it's deep sorrow, but it's not really linked like I'm going there and I'm going to stay there. It's almost like it's reaching down for this deep sadness I didn't even know was there. It's like grabbing it, pulling it out of me. That's what it feels like each and every time. So it is very cleansing. It is very purifying. This is a purification process that we are in. Positive movement forward with the higher self. Yeah, okay, we're gonna I will read these in a second. I'm getting guided to continue with this spread, but there's a little bit more here to twist. And try not to rush through any of these processes, which I don't feel like anybody is really wanting to do anymore. That's where we had been. That's where I had been, for sure. When you awaken to the truth of yourself and you get a blast of that ascension energy and you're like, yeah, I know I am. Suddenly you're confident and you're drive, you're ready to go. That only lasts so long because we still have old parts of ourselves operating at the same time. So it causes a real push-pull in our energy, and it causes a lot of confusion too. So as we ascend, as we raise our vibration, it can be painful. We are stripping away old versions of ourselves. We are losing connections to old parts of ourselves, people that may have played those parts. But all in all, this is the fulfillment of the soul's wishes. This is the direction the soul is driving each and every one to go to. The higher self has been working non-stop for at least a week, very, very intimately with each and every one of us in a specific aspect of our lives, specifically deep in relationship to self, relationship to family, to relationship to everything and everyone that has been alongside of you in this journey that developed parts of yourself, parts of your personality, parts of your fears, parts of your joys, parts of everything. We are deepening, we are reconnecting, or we are releasing. It's one or the other. We are either reconnecting or releasing. We are liberating ourselves from our past selves with the higher self. And that is positively moving forward, that energy. As I was saying, with the Five of Orbs and the sense of deep loss, deep sorrow, deep sadness for I do not know who I am anymore. I don't know what is happening. This is a faceless person still juggling these balls in the air. I just don't even know what I'm doing anymore, kind of thing, right? That is because the universe stepped in and really putting a smack down on some truth, some deep, deep truth. You're not this person you thought you were. You are not this label, this title that was given to you. You are so much more. And then when that part of you gets stripped away, either you lose a job, you lose a home, you lose a spouse, you lose something. Some people, identify as, being the parent, you might lose a child. Things come back. However, when that deep loss sets in, and suddenly it's a deep realization of the truth. That's all I ever gave my energy to. That's all I ever identified with in this lifetime was what went away. That is the plan, the universal plan. This is probably the hardest part of the journey. But it is so bottom of the deck. It is so enlightening, so rewarding, and it does take us somewhere. Don't hold on to the fact that you've lost something. Don't go there. I mean, you can. If you go there, don't stay there for too long because you'll miss the enlightening part of that, of the disruption, of the cracks that cracked you open. We are missing when we run away, when we hide, when we sink too far down. I don't want to feel. It hurts too much. I can't feel this. What can I do? I feel like right now, people that had good strategies on not feeling their feels anymore, whether you're just gonna, stick your head in the sand, I'm gonna just work, I'm just gonna do this, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna numb it out, whatever. None of that is working for anybody anymore. None of it. That is what's causing this identity crisis, this loss of identity. It's like I suddenly don't know what to do with myself. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know what to do with my life anymore. I'm doing stuff, but it doesn't even feel good anymore. It feels wrong. Where it used to feel right, now it feels wrong. Whew, that's like a lot. Hi, everybody. I just booked a reading for tomorrow. Oh, good. Oh, I'll see you tomorrow. Yes. So I want to dive a little deeper. Like, this energy is, wow. I feel it. I'm going to ask some questions here. What do I want to ask? What do I want to ask? This is where the collective is. Things are getting pulled away, or there's just there's no interest in things that you used to be interested in. But with disruption, I'm getting like some things are literally like being taken away, or people are running away from something that they used to run towards for whatever reason. Whatever that reason is, we are in the 8th house. Transformation, death, rebirth, karma, facing those fears, facing those insecurities, facing ourselves. Because we develop these personas, these patterns and ways of being to hide ourselves, from our pain, from the reasons why we developed the patterns in the first place. How much longer do you feel we have to go through these changes? Well, I will tell you, honestly, I felt like I didn't need to even go through any more changes. I felt like I was good until this last one hit, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, this is important that I take care of this for myself. Not just for myself, for me and my family. So within the astrology, expect it to get even more intense through September, October, November. And that's really all I can say. There is always going to be points in each of those months and each of those cycles where we are given space to breathe. We get to come up for air. We're like, I can live again. I can breathe again. I can hug someone again. I can be me until the next one comes around. So it is very individual, but even collectively, we're going to be swimming around in these cycles for a while. I'm looking at 2024 as being the big mark of like giant change, like paradigm shifting changes. But that's just within astrology. We have so much, we are the ones with the power here. The astrology is just guiding us. We don't have to sit and wait for the next big transit to make great changes. But the thing is, we have to realize we have to make those great changes within ourselves, within our life. Everything we think, everything we do, how we act has to be in accordance to our authenticity, to self-love. And then when we make connections from that space, from that energy, those connections are also connected to that intention, that vision, and we can create this change now. We can. It takes conscious effort. It is important that each and every one of us first pay attention to our own journey and what's being shown to us that we have to heal and let go of and move through. But whenever we get a jolt or a sensation or a feeling of like, I feel strong enough to make this change for myself now, I feel strong enough to do something different, then the universe will bring in opportunities for you to enhance that You know, we get so many opportunities to go in a different direction and enhance those different directions, and our egos take over, our minds take over so much. We think it's one way, we think it's one thing, we think it's, oh, this is my career, my new job. Like, we have to get all of those labels and things out of our heads. Everything from the old matrix has got to go away. Unlearn everything we were taught, everything we taught ourselves even. Yeah, it's definitely more individual, for sure, for sure. I'm sorry, I get passionate sometimes when I do these readings, so hopefully you guys aren't like put off by my energy, but it is just wow, wow, wow. And from the things I've witnessed in the last week or so within myself, always first and foremost within myself, but within others that are on my path, on my journey, it is undeniable. It's undeniable how much of a shift, and there's a lot of chaos and turmoil that goes along with that. So again, pull it back in. It's important to connect back into the body. It's important to realize that we human beings on this planet, especially now, with so much artificial energy, with so many distractions. The sun's coming through my window right now. With so many different distractions and energetic distractions, it's really hard sometimes to even recognize when we're not even in our body. We're in our thoughts, we're walking around, we've got feedback loops and different thoughts going around, and we're just operating on those. What do I have to do going in the future? Sometimes we get pulled into something. What did that person say? Why am I feeling this? But we're not in the body. We're not grounded in the body. So anytime you feel yourself like dizzy, lightheaded, can't see so well, I have no energy, check with yourself. Am I in my body? Am I even in my body? Most likely you're not. And you're in your thoughts and you're just woo, 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 all over the place. I noticed this with myself many times. And then I have to sit and just take a breath like, okay, I'm not in my body right now. And when you practice that, bringing yourself back into your body, over and over and over again, that is empowering. You'll feel a difference. You'll feel the grounding. You'll realize like, oh my God, where have I been my whole life? I've been floating around somewhere, floating around in my, worrying about where I'm going, or floating around, being upset or pissed off or sad about something that someone said yesterday or even a minute ago. It's just, we're multi-dimensional. Woo, I got a big hot flash just now. Okay, let's keep going. I want to dig into this fulfillment of wishes a little bit more. Okay, wow. All right, the guides are like, this message couldn't get any clearer, but I'm going to keep going anyway. So as the vibrations, as the frequencies rise, as we go through physical body changes, uncomfortable ones at that, there's strange things, strange sensations. There might be a lot of people feeling uncomfortable right now in general, but elevating and maybe every so often tapping into that higher frequency where you really can connect. If you watch a good sunset or connect with nature or something, you'll really feel that jolt or that lift into a positive, the ascension. But it is our soul's way of fulfilling its wishes. It is the chariot. It is the movement forward, that charge forward. Understanding with the duality, we've got the mind. Sometimes we're not in the body. Sometimes we're all over here. And then we've got the higher self, like, this is where we're going. Stay with me. I will pull you. I will take you. But this is where we're going. Follow how you feel. Follow your intuition right now, more so than ever, because there's a lot of fire energy going on right now, and it can pull you. It can pull you where you want to go. It can also pull you in the wrong direction as well, because this is feisty. This is Mars. This is very feisty energy. It's like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta make this change. But this is kind of knee-jerk reaction time. So be mindful of that Wheel of Fortune, though. really, you cannot deny that the cycles are pulling the collective, each and every one of us, into a completely new direction in our lives right now, whether you're aware of it or not. All right, let's go on to higher self, positive movement forward here. Oh yeah, okay, so this is why it gets scary sometimes when the higher self comes in. It's a resonance. We feel this energy. It's linked to us. It is our higher self. It is the sense of self that we were born into. We were born here with. Before we were completely conditioned and programmed by our parents and society and life in general. So there is a resonance. It's like, oh, I recognize who I am. This is like that deep knowing, really, even. So there is a lot of positive movement forward with the energy, people reconnecting to their higher self. And it is parts of themselves that is not always known. It's not always seen. It remains dormant in the subconscious until it is made conscious, which it is being made conscious. Ace of Wands. Now, again, very juvenile in a way. Not juvenile, I'll take that back. This can be a power trip sometimes. Sometimes when we connect to our higher self and the higher frequencies, we get a sense of safety and security and stability, but that's our ego. It's an egoic sense. It's not fully connecting to the higher self. So be mindful of that energy where this is a feeling of like the world is my oyster and I can do whatever I want. Yes, true, but be mindful of where we're at right now, this karmic time, because you could go for something that you want, your ego wants, and you may or may not get it. But is that really what the higher self wants you to do? Is that really your intention? Is that the purpose of this journey for you? We got to get out of like stuff, materialism, having things, like that whole status quo is what is being stripped away from people. But right now, it's actually blowing up even more crazy. So what I'm noticing is a lot more narcissistic tendencies, a lot more greed, a lot more mine, and I don't care about anybody else, and power struggles, and people wanting to control things, and just selfishness. I'm noticing a lot of that. Not even seeing like the big picture at all. That is not the intention of the higher self here. So if we're doing shadow work here again, remember we're still in that karmic time. So I'm just throwing that out there because there's a lot of subconscious stuff still coming out. And if you think it's not you, if you're playing the blame game with anybody, then you're going to be stuck in that cycle for a while. So you might want to pop yourself out of that. If you're feeling like you want to blame anybody or anything for what you're experiencing right now, that's a good indicator to you to like maybe take a step back and review again. What is this showing me, for my growth and evolution? All right, let's get into the Five of Orbs, Truth, Universe. On the floor. This card has come out in so many readings. The nostalgia. I've had a lot of this too. And when we have these memories that come up for us, the good memories, like if you're a parent, the memory of like holding your baby in your arms for the first time, the memories of your first kiss, the memories of your first anything that felt good or life-changing for you. A lot of that has been coming up right now. And so when things are stripped away that are not meant to be in your life anymore, but we identify with it so strongly that we suddenly have a loss of identity when they're no longer there, that is definitely a Uranus move. The Plutonian energy, Uranian energy, The universe is pulling out its forces to show you the truth. You are not being truthful to yourself. You're not living your truth. And then we go back to the nostalgia, the memories, and that's where we find the truth. We find bits and pieces of our true authentic self when we think back of times that were authentic in our lives. We've all had those moments too. Bottom of the deck again. New beginnings. It's time for a new beginning. We are all getting a new beginning in something here through this cycle, through this cycle this week. A new beginning for communication, a new start, maybe just a new life path, a new way of, I don't know, eating, a new exercise routine. These are so mundane, I'm just trying to throw, but it could be new, a lot bigger, most likely a lot bigger. A new outlook, a new perception, a new you, a new version of you, which is really not new. It is original. All right, we're gonna wrap this up with some advice from the Oracle of the Seven Energies. And speaking of the number 7, yesterday I had a message come through that, and I still have to kind of get into this a little more in depth because I think I got the message mixed up a little bit, but it had to do with the Pleiadian constellation and the Seven Sisters. The Pleiadian star cluster is known as the Seven Sisters. That's your lucky number. And I was given a message that we are currently clearing 7 generations of ancestral patterning and trauma, backwards and forwards. 7 generations from the past and 7 generations going forward. So we're going to get some advice from the Oracle of the 7 energies. So that's interesting that the 7 sisters gave me the message of the 7 generations and what we're currently experiencing right now. If that makes sense. I do get a lot of ancestral messages that pertain usually just to I thought they only pertain to my journey. I'm realizing that if I share those messages with others too, that they are also messages for others. If they're not receiving their own messages yet, because everybody will be receiving their own messages in their own time. So, what is the message for us all in this very interesting time? Roots of abundance. Very interesting. It's a number 2 card. I've never pulled this card before from this deck. All right. Roots of abundance. This card signals you to pay attention to how you are anchored in the story of your life. Trust that you will be taken care of. The world is full of limitless potential and will nourish you according to your beliefs, regardless of temporary outer conditions. You are not a victim of life. Life happens for you, not to you, even if you sometimes slip into that way of thinking. If you are grounded and internally steadfast, nothing can uproot you, and you have the ability to manifest your intentions with ease. The message here is simple. Your life is safe and secure, and your intentions are coming to fruition. All your hopes and dreams are firmly grounded and taking root so that you can reach for the stars in your life and expand your dreams further than you can imagine. Everything in the material world is a reflection of your inner world, and I want everybody to remember that saying. Everything in your outer world, everything in the material world that you experience is a reflection of your inner world. Very difficult for the brain to wrap around. But the more and more you sit with that, you'll start to see that. Let's keep going here. You are unstoppable and unshakable because you believe that you are abundant. Know that you can easily move from merely surviving to thriving when you pay attention to staying grounded. If you find yourself in ungrounded thinking, now is the time for radical trust. Growth never follows a straight line. You will manifest what you need when you need it. A tall, healthy tree doesn't need to hold on to the ground for dear life. It knows it will not fly away with the wind because its roots are planted deep in the earth. And that is such a beautiful message. I cannot stress to you all the amount of fear, panic, complete despair and devastation that came over me last week. It was very real. A lot of that was subconscious patterning and thoughts due to a triggered situation I was faced with and did not have all of I didn't know exactly what was going on. So it was left to trigger the brain to come up with a narrative. And I listened to it, but did not go with it. I didn't shut it down either. So I wanted to hear where my brain patterns had taken me in my past to have me believe something about a person, a situation, a thing that was linked to a painful experience I had in the past. We all do this. And so I was very strategically sitting with it. Didn't mean I wasn't feeling it all, because I was, and it was really hard, really torturous. And it took me 4 days to fully come up out of that and see everything for exactly how I was really supposed to be seeing it, for the truth of the situation. But our minds have so much power and can really take us in places that can be scary. The amount of power and our mind has that can control our emotions, our body, our everything, because it's so linked to a very scary or tragic or karmic experience we've already had that we may not even be fully aware of. But when it happens, you sit with it, you will see. And you don't even have to fully see. It's just see how you speak to yourself, what your brain, where do you go? Where does your mind go when you don't get your way, when your needs are not met? What happens inside of you? And then see what happens outside of you. It's a very, if you have the time, which I think we're all given this time, it's a very enlightening experience to have. And also it clears it out of your system when you go through it. So I'm realizing the spiritual sayings in certain communities, it's like you got to go through, you got to feel it to heal it, right? You got to go through the fire. And it's true. We human beings, we don't want to feel pain. We don't want to feel bad. We run away from it. We're like, no, I don't want to feel this. We do everything we can to not feel bad, not feel pain, right? I mean, and myself included, but I also know that if I'm doing that, I'm writing myself a bad check right now, emotionally. And the more I run and hide from my true feelings, I am just putting myself in emotional debt. So it's important for me to sit and experience all of that, but not attached to anything the brain is telling me or the emotions. It's kind of it was an experimental for me because it was such a very, and it's too important for me to even speak publicly of it. I will talk about it, but it was very, very personally linked very deeply to me. So there was no escaping it. It's still going on, but I'm out of that spiral that I really spiraled down into, which we all have to. We all really truly have to spiral down into the depths of our own crap and sit there for a bit and see ourselves, see the patterns, see how we treat ourselves. And it could be even like how your parents have treated you, or your experiences growing up. All of those things are coming up. I did come across a really interesting, I posted it on my Facebook page. Again, I'm a little leery about social media right now, but I do want to like share as much as I can with people. And it had, it was linked to the father. So it said, if your father was, has like a list of these things, then most likely you're having this experience. And it has to do with our emotions, how we express ourselves. And I found that really quite spot on for me. And because I had more than just one father figure, I had more than just one experience as a kid with all of that. So that's interesting too. But anything I can do to help open the eyes or help the collective see more that they are being shown, the better, that we can all kind of go through this together, because it's not fun, but we are all in this together. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you're all doing well, and I will be back very soon. I want to give an astro update as well, because that is the astrology is getting very interesting right now, and I do have a lot more to share. So love you all. Have a beautiful day. Bye.